He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as we have gone 6 days now of Jaguar training camp. The full pads came on today. We had some more roster moves by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we had some downright craziness go on up in Nashville at Titans camp. So there is a ton to get into. Guest lineup looks like this. Coming up in a little less than 15 minutes, my training camp one-on-one conversation today was with Jaguar offensive lineman Brandon Sheriff. Brandon Sheriff's a guy that's coming into year 3 here in Jacksonville, clearly the starter at right guard. It's interesting because now the Jaguars, when you talk about center, right guard, maybe the oldest combo in the league, right? 2 veteran guys with Mitch Morse and Brandon Sheriff. They're joined by Ezra Cleveland in the middle. Of course, Cam Robinson and Anton Harrison on the outside. Really enjoyed catching up with Brandon Sheriff. Funny story. It wasn't funny for Brandon. In one of the team drills today in full pads, had a laceration, a gap, in his nose. He was bleeding. There was quite a lot of blood, quite frankly. Yet he's a football player, man. He got some medical treatment, got a new helmet, went back out there, made it happen, and still came over to talk with us on Hacker After Dark after practice. That is commitment, my friend, and we certainly appreciate Brandon Sheriff for doing that. And that conversation comes up in less than 15 minutes. Coming up at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour, we will go to Nashville. Justin Mello, the reason I wanted Justin on, he's a writer for the Draft Network, among many other outlets, and he put out a piece earlier this week on Jaguars' second-year offensive tackle, Anton Harrison. So I want to ask about Anton Harrison, about the article that Justin wrote. I want to talk about some of the other Jaguar young players so far early in camp. But Justin lives in Nashville and also does work covering the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans had some downright craziness today at their training camp. They were in their first day of pads as well. Reportedly, former Jaguar, current Titan Arden Key set to be suspended 6 games for popping for PEDs. I'm sure we'll get a statement out that he had no idea, right? Just like Danico Autry had no idea. Isn't it interesting that whenever a football player gets popped for PEDs, they never had any idea they were doing anything wrong? Yeah, well, you were doing something wrong. How you don't know, I'm not really sure. But maybe in Arden Key's downtime on the 6-game suspension, he can come back to Jacksonville and help rebuild the city that he built once so prominently in his 6 months here back in 2022. Also in Nashville today, there was a pretty good fight, a rumble, if you will, between Jeffrey Simmons and J.C. Latham, 2 big, important pieces for the Tennessee Titans. But Jeffrey Simmons wasn't done there. Not only did he have a fight and threw a punch at the first-round pick, yeah, that's football. All right, I tend to agree with that. Our colleagues up at 104.5 The Zone up in Nashville were doing their program, their midday show, at the Titans training facility. Buck Reesing is one of the main guys on 104.5 The Zone. He is the midday host. And obviously he had said something on social media either today or in the last couple of days that rubbed Jeffrey Simmons the wrong way. And Jeffrey Simmons kind of berated him live on air. It was wild. I'm sure most of you have seen the video by now. If not, it's not hard to find what is going on with the Tennessee Titans. That was not a good day for them. So Justin Mello, who covers the Titans, also works for the Draft Network. He was at Titans practice earlier today. We'll find out what exactly the scene was like there in Nashville, because it was an interesting one, to say the least. And in the 9 o'clock hour, Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, will stop by. We'll also play you a Daniel Thomas conversation that I had down at training camp yesterday. So we're absolutely jam-packed. We are glad you are spending part of your Tuesday evening with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
I will tell you quickly, in case you missed this earlier this afternoon, we talked about the Jaguars cutting their kicker yesterday. Cam Little is the guy. Riley Patterson was shown the door. Cam Little is the kicker. The Jaguars this afternoon made some additional cuts and actually signed 3 guys. Defensive lineman Andre Carter and linebacker Trey Kaiser were waived. And coming in their place, defensive end Rasheem Green, who spent last year in Chicago, had 2 sacks last year. Green had 6.5 sacks back in 2021 in Seattle. He's a defensive end. The Jaguars also signed linebacker Tanner Muse and defensive end Raymond Johnson. It was interesting because when practice wrapped up today and we were waiting for our one-on-one interviews, we saw a bunch of workout guys there at the facility. Obviously, the Jaguars saw enough from some of those guys to sign them. And again, your newest Jaguars, Raymond Johnson, Tanner Muse, and Rasheem Green. So more on that as developments warrant. All right, big deal of the night. It was 24 hours ago. Well, really, it was 72 hours ago. 72 little hours ago on Saturday down at practice, you would have thought the sky was falling because the Jaguar offense was struggling. And they were struggling in a big way. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was not a good day for the offense on Saturday. But I sat here last night on Hacker After Dark, and I told you to channel your inner Aaron Rodgers. Relax. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. The offense will figure it out. It's late July. Have a little patience. What happens today? First day in full pads. Probably the best practice of training camp for Trevor Lawrence. Probably the best practice of training camp for Brian Thomas. And overall, ultimately, probably the best practice for the offense as a whole a week into training camp. This thing's a roller coaster. There will be ups, there will be downs. Defense is going to win one day, offense is going to win the next. Go with the ebb and flow. Enjoy the ride. As a fan, as we do here in the media, report what happens, good or bad. You digest that, do with it what you will. But the absolute panic from some of you on social media Saturday about Trevor got overpaid and the offense is going to be awful again. Now all of a sudden, just 72 little hours later, all is right with the world because the offense had a good day. That's what makes it fun, man. That's what makes it fun. Again, at the end of the day, nothing that matters, nothing that happens in training camp really matters other than injuries, which we unfortunately had a few of those today. We don't know the severity. Outside of injuries, nothing really matters. I don't even care about the preseason game results. Sunday, September 8th is all that matters. And if the offense struggles today, tomorrow, and the next day, but they work their way out of it to be humming at a fine tune by Sunday, September 8th in Miami, Florida, the opener against the Dolphins, to me, that is absolutely 150% all that matters. Jaguar defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen did meet the media earlier today. I asked him, he's only been here about 6 months. His defensive staff, a large majority of it, has only been here about 6 months. Yet you talk to the defensive guys, you go out there and you watch camp the first week, Defense is playing very well. By the way, the defense didn't have a bad day today. I just think the offense had a relatively good day today. But I asked Ryan Nielsen earlier this morning why it seems the coaches and the defensive players have gelled so well in just a very short amount of time.
It's a testament to the staff. Really, the guys, the position coaches, they've done a great job. We spent a lot of time together. Off-season was fantastic, and just how the defense was put together. Again, it's not we got in there and everybody had their own ideas, and we kind of built this thing where, everybody had input. Everybody had buy-in, and everybody does a really good job of coaching their position fundamentals and technique, and that's how the scheme really works, is each individual player, each individual coach doing his job. Those guys have been fantastic, and then the players have been really receptive, new fundamentals, techniques, scheme type things, and when they're bought in and they really like what you're doing and teaching them things like that, then what you're seeing on the field is every day is, okay, what's next? What else can I learn? Things like that, and so they're really energetic, but it's a daily thing. We got to continue to grow. And it's just about today. So we're going to continue to push those things today. The effort and the energy and the positivity is that's just who we are. It's who we're going to be. Coach Peterson talks about being positive. And that's a lot from him as well. So it's just been a good combination. We just got to continue to do it.
Yeah, look, I like everything about Ryan Nielsen. He has come in a very short amount of time, established his culture quickly. One more thought from him from earlier today. We talk about culture, right? Well, Ryan Nielsen is all about, on the defensive side of the ball, building that winning culture.
And so you want to get a collection of winners on the same team, and bring along some of the guys that maybe haven't been there before. And so you can learn a lot from, how to win in this league. A lot of that is those guys know execution. Don't beat yourself. Like that's, when you're talking to them, just don't beat yourself. Just be in the right spot, align and adjust, fundamentals and technique, and then finishing a game. That's where a lot of those, what you're talking about, those guys bring that. Finish the game. Don't just, hey, if you're up 7 points with 5 minutes, the game's not over. Play all the way through the game, and how to do that. So yeah, it's a huge thing. It's something that you look for in scouting and player acquisition, and we've got some guys that have been there and done that before, and so they're really helping with what the culture that we're building.
Thank you to Jaguars.com. Ryan Nielsen meeting the media earlier today. Press Taylor will meet the media down at the Miller Electric Center tomorrow. As far as the defense goes, again, it was not a bad day for them. There was some good things. We saw some one-on-one pass blocking drills between the O-line and the D-line. I thought the defense won a good number of those battles. But Trevor and the offense, particularly the skill position guys, did perform well today, first day of full pads. I thought it was Trevor's best practice this year during training camp. I thought Brian Thomas did some nice things as well. Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis. Boy, there was almost a scary scene, knock on wood. Davis was going across the middle. Andre Sisco went to the ground and just barely missed Davis. When you see Sisco and Davis on the ground on July 30th, you just hope both guys get up. And luckily, both guys did get up. But boy, that was almost a bad one. The AFC South has been riddled with issues, by the way. We mentioned Arden Key, a 6-game suspension for the Titans. Danico Autry, 6-game suspension, it looks like, for the Texans. The Colts just lost their best pass rusher, their leading sacker from 2023, and Samson Ebukam from, 9.5 sacks last year to a torn Achilles this year. So you knock on wood. I mentioned a couple of Jaguars did leave practice today. One of them was Andrew Dewey Wingard. I believe the report was a knee. We don't know the severity of it yet. We'll see. I saw him limping off to the side. It was very, very early in practice. Hopefully it's not something major. Again, we don't know. But he did not return to practice. Once we find out, you will find out here on 1010XL. But after practice, a guy that left practice for a couple of moments and then came back in because my man was bleeding pretty heavily from his nose, but that didn't stop him. He's an offensive lineman. Are you kidding me? Brandon Sheriff coming into year number 3 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I caught up with him after training camp earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center. You'll hear his comments next on a Tuesday evening in the city of Jacksonville with Dylan Denmark, the hacker Ryan Green with you. It's 1010XL. It's 92.5 FM. It's Hacker After Dark.
Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by
USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more at Progressive.com. A day of medals, but no golds for the United States in the pool. Regan Smith and Catherine Burkhoff went silver-bronze behind Australia's Kaylee McEwen in the women's 100-meter backstroke, while Bobby Fink finished second behind Ireland's Daniel Whiffen in the men's 800 free. The U.S. men's 4x200 freestyle relay team took silver behind Great Britain. Simone Biles and Suni Lee led the way as the U.S. women's gymnastics team claimed gold in the team competition. It's the third time in the last 4 Summer Games the U.S. has finished on top. Biles and Lee will both compete in the all-around final on Thursday, marking the first time 2 Olympic all-around champions will face off in a final. And the surfing competition, scheduled to resume tonight in Tahiti, has been postponed due to high rains and wind throughout the island. With this Summer Games update, I'm Ryan Radke, Westwood One Sports.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat?
I don't know. Why?
Peer pressure.
Oh. Good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat.
Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Cool the pain with BioFreeze and keep on going. BioFreeze cools and relieves sore muscles and joints. It works fast and is long-lasting by using cold therapy to help relieve the pain. In fact, it's the #1 clinician-recommended menthol topical pain relief brand based on Ipsos clinician survey of chiropractors, podiatrists, massage therapists, retail pharmacists, and athletic trainers. BioFreeze. Green means go. Learn more at biofreeze.com. Use as directed.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Meet Cheryl.
Hey.
She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a paint color namer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Irving Stapler.
Hi, Howie.
So the next round is word association. I'll say a word and you give me the first word you think of. Engagement ring.
Jeweler.
Gas station.
Fueler.
Aaron Burr.
Dueler.
Air conditioning.
Wow. Jeez. That's a toughie.
Come on, Irv. The sponsor's going to kill me now.
Oh, Bueller.
That's right, Irv. If your AC is struggling through the summer heat, the first name you should think of for fast, friendly, 5-star service is Bueller Air and Plumbing. The name to know to make sure you are cool.
Have a beer, Irv.
Cooler.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford.
In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back.
It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or matt-jacksonville.com.
It's soccer around the world, and here at home on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour, Monday evenings on 10:10 a.m. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk, Mondays at 6 on 1010XL. Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Canines for Warriors provides veterans with lifelong companions in one of their highly trained service dogs. If you know a veteran who could benefit from a companion or simply want to support, visit caninesforwarriors.org.
Your love can give pets a purpose. To adopt a loving animal from the Jacksonville Humane Society, call 725-8766.
Having a mentor can positively change a young life right here in Jacksonville. It only takes 4 to 7 hours a month to be a big brother or big sister and change a life forever. Become a big today at bbsnefl.org.
There is a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating to a local blood donation center.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by FIS is home this week at 121 Financial Ballpark. Bring your dog tonight on a Forever Vets Dog Day. Tomorrow is ViStar Good as Everywhere Wednesday featuring Dreams Come True. Get the weekend started with Coors Light Thirsty Thursday and we'll have fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. Tuesday night, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. By the way, a little breaking news in the NFL. Excuse me. This just in. Denmark, this happened 58 minutes ago. Does that classify as this just in, we think?
This just in on Hacker After Dark.
Denmark has spoken. I guess it does. The Chicago Bears wide receiver DJ Moore have reached a deal on a 4-year, $110 million extension.
Dang.
$82.6 million guaranteed for DJ Moore.
So 3 years in the last years, if you're still good.
You want to talk about Denmark? You want to talk about one of the worst trades potentially in NFL history? Carolina might be looking at it. I mean, it's going to be in the conversation.
I think it's second.
They gave up DJ Moore, who's a stud. They gave up what would have been Caleb Williams, who we don't know yet, but we think he's going to be a stud. And in return, they got Bryce Young, who looked like a deer in headlights last year. That is looking really, really bad for Carolina. You think it's already in the top 5 as far as one of the worst trades ever?
Oh, yeah. I think it'll probably go down as number 1. I think giving away McCaffrey...
that was a bad one, too.
Yeah, that was really, really great for San Fran. And they were just trying to get a haul of picks and, just get something in return for him. But yeah, that trade that's probably going to go down as one of the worst trades probably in NFL history.
Absolutely awful. And because of that trade, not only could Chicago draft Caleb Williams, but they had their own pick to take Rome Odunze. So you could really make the argument that they have Odunze, Caleb Williams, and DJ Moore, all 3 of them, because Carolina made that trade for Bryce Young. And by the way, Carolina makes the trade for Bryce Young, and they took the wrong quarterback. They should have taken C.J. Stroud. Now, if you take C.J. Stroud, that trade doesn't look as bad, but you didn't. So you trade everything to Chicago for the quarterback, and you make the wrong choice there because C.J. Stroud is head and shoulders better than the guy you took.
If Stroud played for them last year, how many wins did they get? 4?
I don't know, but C.J. Stroud's better than Bryce Young.
That's
it's not
fact.
Even close.
That's a fact, but I mean that team is just so bad. I don't care what quarterback plays for them. They're not a playoff team.
Well, we'll see this year. They go add, Deontay Johnson, right? They got Adam Thielen. They went out and they got a couple of guys in free agency. We'll see. By the way, they had a little skirmish today at their stadium or their practice. It's that time of year, man. You go up against the same guys, even though they're your teammates, the same guys in OTAs and mini camp and now a week into training camp, and it's hot and you're getting tired and you just had about enough of that guy because you've been going up against him every day that you've been out there. Carolina had a skirmish. I know Houston has had a skirmish already. Tennessee had a pretty good melee today with Jeffrey Simmons. Didn't really see any of that here in Jacksonville. I don't think it'll be too long, though. It's almost destined when you got 90 guys that are battling out there in the heat in full pads. Tempers are going to flare at some point. But nevertheless, DJ Moore, $110 million, $82 million guaranteed. Brand new 4-year deal with the Chicago Bears. Back to the Jaguars. Earlier today, first day of full pads, Miller Electric Center. After getting a pretty good laceration on his nose, having a little bloodshed, wiping that blood off and getting back into the drills, Brandon Sheriff did all that and still made time for us after practice. He's an offensive lineman. He's a tough dude. We appreciate it. Here's my conversation with Brandon Sheriff earlier today down at Jaguar training camp. All right, Miller Electric Center, Jaguar training camp, wrapping up the first day in full pads. We got Jaguar offensive lineman Brandon Sheriff here. Brandon, how we doing?
Doing good. How are you?
We're doing good, man. Physicality out there, offensive line. You got to love the full pads.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can get on the full pads and actually, get that fit, you talk about the different combinations we can do as an O-line. You can't really do it until you get to full pads. So it's nice to be able to, take what Phil teaches in the classroom and bring it out on the field and actually, work together. So it was a lot of fun.
You're a good man. A little blood for you on the first day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the helmet, trying to refit a few helmets, so we'll get it figured out.
Obviously, a lot of change, and I want to talk about last year in a moment, but what do you make of all the newness? Mitch Morse arrives, Brian Thomas. I mean, the offense has a lot of new guys, a new defensive coaching staff. Certainly a lot of turnover in the last 6 months. How has it all gelled?
Yeah, it's doing good. Anytime you get somebody new, it's all about, bringing them in and figuring them out as well, too, and building that relationship with them. Mitch and I, we've been in the same draft class. So I've known Mitch for 10 years. He's a heck of a football player. I think he said he's made every playoff. So that just speaks to something. That's his leadership as well. And, he's been there. So it's nice to bring people in like that have tasted that. So he's a fun one to play with. And, it's nice we got somebody else my age right by me right there. And as far as the defense, they're hooting and hollering, they're running around, they're having fun. So it's going to be nice to actually go out and hit somebody else for once, too.
I asked some of the younger guys, Walker Little and Anton in particular, you talk about you, Mitch, Shatley, and Cam. That's like 40 years of NFL experience. What are you guys telling the young guys there in the O-line room?
Just take it one day at a time. I've had my ebbs and flows throughout my career. During camp, you have the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows. So I just tell them just to stay even. And Phil always talks about being the same person every day. So whether you had a good day or bad day, coming in with the good attitude and just playing ball.
You're a veteran. You're not immune to some of the criticism that's been out there. I mean, is that a motivating factor for this O-line group coming into 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't listen to that kind of stuff. We know how good we can be, and we just gotta go out there and do it.
As we begin to wrap up with Brandon Sheriff, I mean, last year, obviously, the collapse, whatever you want to call it. Talk about motivation. Yep. Evan Ingram's made some comments. Dewey Wingard's made some comments. How fresh is that, even though it's been almost 7 months now?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, see, look at that. Say that again.
How motivating is the losing 5 out of 6 last year? 8-3, missing the playoffs. Does it feel like you let it get away? And how motivating has that been the entire offseason?
Yeah, it's been motivating. We were rolling the first half of the season, and to see that collapse, we just gotta figure it out. We were there, so we just got got to continue to keep building and keep taking one step at a time.
Finally, Trevor Lawrence gets a new contract. Joshua Hines Allen, Tyson Campbell taking care of their own. What does that mean to guys in the locker room, the way this organization, quite frankly, is being run now, where maybe before you it wasn't run like this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just going out there and being, like I said, being the same guy every day. Trevor, Josh, Tyson, whether they had a good day or bad day, they showed up the next day and competed. So it's just what Phil always talks about, being the same guy every day. So just showing the organization that you can do it, and that you're not going to let one bad day turn into 2 bad days or one good day, you know what I mean? So on and so forth. So it's just going about your day and being the same guy.
Finally, Brandon, the fans have been great out here. You guys sense the excitement in this city, right? I mean, they're fired up. You guys know that.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to go on walks with my dogs, in the afternoon, and you see all these Jaguar flags. People stop me and say they're excited for the season. So we're excited to go too.
Brandon, appreciate it. Best of luck moving forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
There you go, Brandon Sheriff with us here on Hacker After Dark. As always, thank you to the Jaguars PR staff for helping us out as they do every single day with these interviews. And what I thought was interesting, Sheriff's a veteran, right? He has been around the block. He's been a very good player for many, many years. But I like the fact that he and Mitch Morse are now together. Every time you see Sheriff, you see Morse, or vice versa. You heard in that interview, Morse just kind of came up and gave him one to the shoulder, as he was walking by in a playful way. And that's, I think, good. I mean, Denmark, if you're a 30-plus-year-old offensive lineman in the dog days of training camp, it could be kind of grueling. You might not want to do it. But I almost think Morse and Sheriff now playing together, 2 old, guard, if you will. I think it's going to be good for both guys to be playing right next to one another, because they can kind of motivate each other when maybe they wouldn't be as motivated if they were the only veteran there.
Yeah, and it's kind of like once you reach that veteran status, you're almost like a coach. You heard Ryan Nielsen speak this morning on having Darby and a lot of the veterans, Eric Armstead. They're almost like a player coach that's on the field that's telling the young guys what to do. So it helps the coach's job, and it keeps them young too. It keeps them keeps them informed and keeping them having a good job over and over again.
It is pretty crazy when you think about the veterans on that offensive line. I mean, Cam Robinson, Mitch Morse, Brandon Sheriff, and Tyler Shalley. I don't have the exact number, but just a rough guesstimate. You're talking roughly 40 years of NFL experience. I mean, Cam's the young guy of the group, and he's coming into year 8. I think the other guys are a decade, I want to say. I think all of them are. So you're talking 35, 40 years of experience. Got to be very valuable for an Anton Harrison, even a Walker Little, a Javon Foster, to have those type of guys on the roster. So we'll see what happens. The offensive line, and look, I've talked to a lot of linemen. I talked to Walker Little last week, talked to Sheriff this week, Anton Harrison back during OTAs. They're very aware of the criticism. They're very aware of what's being said about them. Now, I think they were aware of it last year, and that didn't seem to matter. But whatever motivates you, man, whatever gets your juices flowing, hopefully the offensive line is tired of hearing how they're the weak link on that offense. Because quite frankly, at times they were last year. And we'll see if that changes with the arrival of Mitch Morse, the re-signing of Ezra Cleveland, and what else they have done now to improve that offensive line. Coming up next, let's go to Nashville. My buddy Justin Mello of the Draft Network. We're going to talk Jaguars. He wrote an article about Anton Harrison. I want him to talk about that and some of the Jaguar youngsters that he studied at the Draft Network. But he was also at Titans camp today in Nashville. He covers Tennessee. It was a blank show for the Tennessee Titans today. Between the Arden Key suspension for PEDs that's being reported, the pretty good fight that happened involving Jeffrey Simmons and J.C. Latham, and then Jeffrey Simmons going after one of our colleagues on 104.5 The Zone up there in Nashville. Good grief, what a day. We'll talk about all of it next. Justin Mello, the Draft Network, up in Nashville, here on Hacker After Dark.
Believe in the unbelievable.
Unbelievable!
1010XL.
I can't believe it! I can't believe it!
We're hearing is believing.
Unbelievable!
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Attention homeowners. Is it time to get your septic tank pumped out? Don't wait until it's too late. At Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic, our experienced technicians use the latest equipment to pump out your tank safely and efficiently, ensuring that your septic system is running smoothly. Neglecting your septic tank can lead to costly repairs and even health hazards. So call Duck Duck Rooter and schedule your septic tank pumping. Call now. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the 5s, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take 50, 75, 200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
We will be perfect. Training camp. You drop a pass, you run a mile. Nobody covers camp like 1010XL. Get daily training camp coverage brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control. Perfection on 1010XL.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Make sure your roof is ready for the next Florida storm by scheduling a free roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to $1,250 on your roof replacement, plus flexible financing up to 15 years. Offer expires July 31st. Restrictions apply. Call 1-855-ROOF-HELP or click universalroof.com.
License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Clearwater.
John, I can't even mow my side yard. It's so soggy. Man, my builder sucks.
Brent, calm down. This is a common problem in neighborhoods where houses are built too close together. You need gutters and a properly installed French drain that will soak up subsurface water. We can completely dry it up.
So I can take my builder off my speed dial now, huh?
Yeah, we got you, buddy. Let that builder bitterness go.
Clearwater irrigation and drainage too.
Ackerman Cancer Center's Total Body MRI is the latest technology in early detection. This comprehensive imaging goes beyond regular scans, providing a holistic view of your health in one 60-minute scan. Schedule your Total Body MRI at AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Training camp in full swing all over the National Football League. Of course, the Jaguars, their first day in pads was earlier today. A lot of teams actually putting the pads on today. Let's talk Jacksonville. Let's talk AFC South. And let's talk about a really interesting day with our friends in Nashville. My buddy Justin Mello of the Draft Network does a great job for that website. He also does a great job in covering the Tennessee Titans. And Justin joins us here on 1010XL. Justin, it's been a little while, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ryan. Doing well. Appreciate you for having me on. As you said, busy day in Nashville, to say the least. Very, very eventful, both on and off the field. Titans were also in pads for the first time today. So lots of things, as you said, that AFC South is certainly starting to heat up their preparation for the regular season.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The reason I wanted you on was to talk Jags. I know you have an article out about Anton Harrison that I wanted to get to from the Draft Network. Before we get to all that, let's focus on Nashville. All right, let's start. Former Jaguar Arden Key reportedly popped for PEDs. Looks like it's going to be a 6-game suspension. At least that's the report. Justin, if that's true, how big a loss is that for the Titans?
Well, Jags fans might appreciate hearing that it's a really big loss. You know, this Titans team is not very good, certainly not deep at the edge rusher position. You know, going into this year, they were actually promoting Arden Key from like a situational pass rusher to an every down guy. And they were doing that out of necessity. You know, they lost Dina Kawatri, who also got popped for PEDs recently, a 6-game suspension of his own. But they lost him to free agency. He joins the Houston Texans, as we all know, there in the AFC South. And they don't really replace him. You know, they didn't draft a guy until the 7th round. They didn't sign anyone in free agency. So that naturally was going to elevate Arden Key up to the number 2 player on the depth chart opposite Harold Landry. And they were going to be the quote-unquote, you know, every down starters at that position. Well, without Arden Key now, they're in big, big trouble. You know, the depth behind them, they've got Rashad Weaver, who's a 4th-year day 3 pick that's been okay at best. They've got a 7th-round rookie in Jalen Harrell out of Michigan. They've got a couple sophomore UDFAs in Caleb Murphy and Thomas Rush. And they've also got Shane Ray, a blast from the past. They signed him last week. What was it, a 2017, 2018 first-rounder he was. So there's no depth at all really behind Harold Landry. And one of those guys is going to have to start. So it'll be worth monitoring if they try to do something in free agency. There's not a lot of guys out there, but a couple they're familiar with, veterans like Carl Lawson, Tyus Bowser. But other than that, you know, they're really got to be concerned with this Arden Key suspension.
Justin Mello of the Draft Network, yeah, reportedly, again, former Jaguar, current Titan, Arden Key, going to be suspended 6 games for PEDs. That brings us to the first padded practice in Nashville today, and a pretty good fight from all indications. I was down at Jaguar camp, so I obviously got it after the fact, but looking at it on social media, Justin, it looks like Jeffrey Simmons was involved. Rookie J.C. Latham was involved. And what a day for Jeffrey Simmons. He gets into a fight, And then he goes off on one of our colleagues, 104.5 The Zone, up there in Nashville as they were doing their show at the training camp facility. That is, boy, that's not a good look for Jeffrey Simmons today.
No, and it's been a couple of weeks now where his social media antics are getting a bit tiresome, in all honesty. But he gets into the fight there at practice. First-round tackle, J.C. Latham is involved. Arden Key got in the mix, threw a punch, from what I understand. Lloyd Cushenberry, the starting center, was there. And things continued to get chippy over the next couple of reps. In fact, one of the referees in attendance said that he would have had Jeffrey Simmons thrown from the game if that was a regular season game for what he did. Head coach Brian Callahan was not happy. He got in the mix in the middle of it and kind of berated his team for letting their emotions get the better of them. Now, Coach Callie, he downplayed it in the post-game presser, said nothing to worry about, things of that nature. But then we get an even stranger moment following the practice where Jeffrey Simmons approaches Buck Reising, host on 104.5 The Zone, as you pointed out, who's in the middle of doing his show live from the facility. He's got Roger McCreary, in fact, another Titans player, sitting down with him. And Simmons just walks up to Buck and loses his cool on him, uses some not safe for work language. We're not really sure what set Jeffrey Simmons off because obviously he doesn't have his phone with him at practice. Presumably, Buck had a tweet that reported on what happened with the fight, and he ended it with Jeffrey Simmons needs to lock the expletive in, I guess sort of blaming Simmons for the fight. I don't know if Simmons walked to the locker room. Most of these guys nowadays grab their phone first thing they do, and if he saw the tweet and lost his cool, but he seemed to kind of come back out to go up to Buck and chew him out. Use, expletive words live on the air while Buck's in the middle of doing his show with Titans corner Roger McCreary. This isn't the first run-in for Jeffrey Simmons with the media in recent days. A couple weeks ago, when the team signed Jamal Adams in free agency, a couple of the local reporters, I thought, had some very fair criticisms of that signing. This is a guy that's been hurt lately, hasn't played at a high level in a couple years. Well, Simmons absolutely lost it on social media, and he ended up going on like a blocking rampage where he blocks a bunch of sort of local reporters who were just doing their job. And then at a press conference, someone tries to ask him about it, his first available media session at camp, and he interrupts the reporter, says, "We're not talking about that anymore. We're moving on." Well, it's not a really bad job of moving on when days later you approach Buck in the middle of doing his show and berate him with expletives because you didn't like something he said. So it's a little tiresome, to be honest. For a 6'4", 320-pound defensive tackle that's very good and very dominant, seems to be allowing social media to get the better of him on a frequent basis lately.
Yeah, supposed to be one of the team leaders there, Jeffrey Simmons. He did not act like a team leader today. All right, interesting. While we're on it, we'll get to the Jaguars in a moment, but you mentioned Arden Key's suspension in Nashville, 6 games. Danico Autry, a 6 games PED suspension in Houston. And then Indianapolis loses Samson Ebukam, who's their leading sack artist last year with 9.5 sacks. I mean, knock on wood here in Jacksonville that nothing too bad has happened yet. But goodness gracious, the D-lines in the AFC South have taken a beating here in the first week of training camp.
Yeah, Doug Peterson might want to wrap those guys in bubble wrap, I think, the D-linemen over these next couple of days, because it seems like bad news comes in force. And so far, 3 of the AFC South teams, as you said, I think if you're the Colts and the Texans, you'll feel a bit better than the Titans. And Arden might be the worst player, in all honesty, of the 3 that were impacted. But I think the Colts and Texans are a lot deeper on the pass rush than the Titans are, right? Like with Indianapolis, you've still got Kwity Paye down there. Your first-round pick this year in Laiatu Latu. In Houston, you've got the reigning defensive rookie of the year in Will Anderson. You signed Danielle Hunter to the massive contract. I believe they brought Derek Barnett back in free agency. So those 2 teams are very deep at those positions. You never want to lose guys the way they've lost them over these last couple of days. But I think Houston and Indianapolis are as well set up as they could be to absorb those blows. The Titans, not so much.
Couple more for Justin Mello of the Draft Network. Justin also covers the Tennessee Titans and the AFC South. All right, the reason I wanted you on originally before all this stuff happened in Nashville today is to talk Jaguars and primarily talk Anton Harrison. I know you had a piece come out on the Draft Network talking about the Jaguars' second-year offensive tackle. Justin, I spoke with him at OTAs. I am very high on Anton Harrison. I think that guy has the potential to be an absolute stud in this league. And based on his rookie performance a year ago, it sounds like you're very high on him coming into 2024.
I am. You know, he was put into a tough spot this past year. Anytime you're a late first-round pick, offensive lineman, you're asked to start right away. That's difficult. One of the more difficult positions to play when acclimating from college to the NFL, especially right away. I thought he more than held his own. You know, you saw those first couple weeks that they had some ups and downs, but he got so much better as the year went on. Now, Pro Football Focus, which I do take with a grain of salt, but they didn't credit him with allowing a single sack over Jacksonville's final 9 games. He was really, really good, especially weeks 16, 17, and 18. I thought he was outstanding. You come into this year, I'm expecting to see some sophomore growth from him, right? Like, this guy's got a chance to establish himself as one of the better right tackles in the NFL. I know it's early to say that, but if he picks up where he left off, that's what he's going to be this season. He'll be one of the better right tackles in the league. That's very encouraging for Jacksonville. You know, they've got a couple tackles on expiring contracts. Who knows what's going to happen with Cam Robinson and Walker Little next year. They'll feel very good about having a guy like Anton Harrison. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if they eventually kick him over to left tackle, you know, if they don't retain those other tackles who are free agents to be. So Jacksonville's got to feel great about where Anton Harrison is. It's been a very positive summer from all indications from the sources I've spoken with. I think this guy's primed for a really, really big breakout season this year.
You know, you and I haven't spoke really since after the draft, and certainly a lot has transpired. I want to get a broad overview from you on your thoughts on Jacksonville heading into the year. But the Trevor Lawrence extension, the Tyson Campbell extension, quite frankly, the new stadium that got approved here in Jacksonville. You combine all that with Joshua Hines-Allen's extension earlier this offseason, it has been maybe the most consequential offseason in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Justin, what's been your thought on that?
Well, I thought all three of those extensions were good moves and necessary moves. I know there was a lot of debate over the Trevor Lawrence one, but you look at some of the others around the league. You look at what Miami just gave Tua. You look at what the Packers just gave Jordan Love. And Jacksonville's a franchise. They know how hard it is to find quality quarterback play, even above average quarterback play. It's tough in this league. There is no universe out there where you don't retain Trevor Lawrence. No, you keep Trevor Lawrence. You sign him to the extension that you sign him to. In fact, I'm a Titans guy, but I think he's going to have a good year. I thought last year not enough people are giving credit to how often he played through injury. Right? You can correct me if I'm wrong, Hack, but he's playing through quite a few things there, and I do think it impacted his level of play. I got some questions about the pass-catching corps this year. You know, losing Calvin Ridley, how much are guys like Dave Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. going to make up the difference? That's a bit of a concern for me. But I like Trevor Lawrence. I thought they had to give him that contract. And Josh Allen and Tyson Campbell, no-brainers. Two absolute studs at their position. Defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen, who I thought was such a great hire for this team, he's going to be thrilled knowing he's got those guys in the fold for years to come.
Justin, let's wrap up with some rapid-fire thoughts on the Jaguars roster. Number one, your thought, you know, you work for the Draft Network. You do a great job covering the draft. I don't mean to hit you with this out of left field, but I'm curious. Joshua Cephas, undrafted out of Texas San Antonio. Justin, that guy catches everything, all right? And I don't know why he went undrafted. I think the Jaguars might have gotten a steal there. We'll see. I think absolute worst-case scenario, he's on the practice squad. I think he has a really good shot at making the 53-man roster. How were there 250-some-odd players drafted, and Joshua Cephas wasn't one of them?
Yeah, I thought that was certainly a surprise as well. Now, look, it was a deep wide receiver class. It is what it is. And some guys get lost in the mix. But I thought that was a really quality UDFA addition for Jacksonville. The question is, do they have the numbers to keep them? You know, I think a lot of people are saying that are sort of treating this like it's a foregone conclusion. I don't know that it is. You know, we all fall in love with these guys and these stories, but you know you've got a clear, or you think you've got a top three of, you know, Davis, Thomas Jr., and Kirk. And then you've got guys like Parker Washington, who I thought flashed at times last year. Devin Duvernay has been brought in, I think, to help the return game. I'd be stunned if he doesn't make the roster. That's 5 right there, right? So do they keep 6? Do they keep 7? And Nashif is one of them. So really good, interesting player. I'm of the understanding he's having a great camp so far. It's going to come down to a numbers game. Worst case scenario, you hope to sneak him onto the practice squad, keep developing him there. And when or if you've got an injury, he's a guy you can rely on and call up to the active game day roster.
Jarian Jones is another one, Justin. Now, he was a 3rd-round pick. Obviously, we know he's going to be on the 53-man roster. But there were a lot of people that were lukewarm on him, people that I talked to after the draft that thought the Jaguars might have overdrafted at 96. I don't know if they overdrafted or not. I'm not smart enough to know that sort of thing. What I do know is this: OTAs, rookie minicamp, and the first week of training camp, number 22 is out there making plays for the Jaguars. Again, I think Jacksonville potentially might have found something late in round number 3.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the player. I didn't think they overdrafted him. You watch him on tape, I thought he was instinctual. He could play the boundary. He could play the nickel. I'm a big fan of the player. I really am. I thought he's an athlete. He's a natural athlete at that position. He's got quick feet. He's able to mirror and match receivers down the field, stays within the hip pocket, very competitive at the catch point, PBUs, takeaways, things of that nature. I didn't think they overdrafted him at all. I think it's a damn good football player.
Cam Little, let's talk about him at the end here. Cam Little is the kicker. They released Riley Patterson. I think that was basically a foregone conclusion that Little was going to win the job, but it's official now because he's literally the only kicker on the roster now that Riley Patterson has been released. Boy, not one lacking for confidence, has been drilling 50-plus yarders in practice. He was the 3rd kicker taken when that run of kickers started in round 6. What is your thought on Cam Little and his career prospects moving forward?
Yeah, no-brainer. I mean, number one, I don't know the last time a team drafted a kicker and he didn't make the roster. That's a guarantee that you're going to be the kicker when they draft you. So it's good that they let Riley Patterson go now, hopefully give him enough time to maybe find another landing spot. But Cam Little's, I thought he was great at Arkansas. You're talking about a guy with a big-time leg. That was very accurate. He leads Arkansas with the highest field goal percentage of any kicker in program history, 82.8. And he made every single extra point he attempted. So this is a guy that was the definition of reliability at Arkansas. I'll be honest, predicting success at the pro level is almost impossible. I can give you a billion examples of guys that were not very good college kickers that became really good NFL kickers, and ones that were great, were not good, were bad college kickers that became great NFL, right? Like, it goes both ways. So I don't know that Cam Little it's tough to project what he's going to be. There's so much that goes into it. I think the reason kicking might be one of the least predictive things in this league is because how much of it is mental, right? That's the stuff we can't really evaluate at the college level, at least from afar, right? It's a mental position more than most of the others, maybe all of them besides quarterback. So it makes it really tough to project what a guy's going to be. But no doubt about it, he was worth a draft pick, worth a day 3 pick based on the results that he captured for himself at Arkansas. I'm glad they made the move as a foregone conclusion, like you said. Early indications are he's been lights out at camp.
Justin Mello of the Draft Network. Justin, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the Draft Network. You got the Anton Harrison piece there now. What else can people look forward to in the coming days and weeks?
Yeah, at @JustinM_NFL on Twitter or X, whatever you call it nowadays. Check out the Anton Harrison article on TDN right now. An in-depth analysis of his rookie season and sort of a projection of what I think he's going to be as a sophomore. If you want to just head over there and read the Jacksonville content, you can. I also recently wrote what a successful season looks like for Jacksonville in 2024. Some good analysis there as they look to bounce back from a disappointment in 2023. And if you're into the 2025 NFL draft, it might be early for some, but we got about 200 scouting reports already on the website. We've got an outstanding scouting department headed by our head scout, Keith Sanchez, who won a national championship at LSU during the magical Joe Burrow season. He was on that coaching staff. So we got a hell of a scouting department over at the Draft Network. Already about 200 reports done on the 2025 draft. A lot coming soon your way from the Draft Network, so make sure you head over there for your daily updates.
He's one of our guys here on 1010XL, my buddy Justin Mello of the Draft Network. Justin, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time as always, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Aren't you tired of asking for just enough to get by? Yes. I want to do something that matters. I want to have a life that I'm excited about. I want
1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
It's time to fire up your grill, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our Independence Sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our Independence Sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, it never gets old. It's been a relatively new thing. It's been a couple of weeks now at least that a lot of my media colleagues have seen me out at training camp. A lot of the fans who haven't seen me in a while are seeing me out at training camp. And I keep getting the question, Hacker, how have you lost over 80 pounds in just 5 months? Well, it comes down to one simple answer. It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss, the best weight loss program I've ever been on. There's no hiding this, right? I mean, I can't snap my fingers and lose over 80 pounds in 5 months. I've been on so many weight loss programs that I can't even begin to tell you how many. None of them worked. Awaken 180 has not only worked, it has changed my life. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken180weightloss.com. Begin changing your life today with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home this week at 121 Financial Ballpark. Bring your dog tonight on a Forever Vets Dog Day. Tomorrow is ViStar Good as Everywhere Wednesday, featuring Dreams Come True. Get the weekend started with Coors Light Thirsty Thursday, and we'll have fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and it is hot out there. You know that, Greg, but Honda has a plan for you on or off the road.
They do. There's a ton of Honda scooters, Honda mini motos, great for the beach. Also get you out in the woods with a Honda side-by-side. Plenty to do and stay cool.
Yeah, four-wheelers, and you can trick them out.
We can. From stereo systems to big builds, we do it all.
Everything's there for you to see. CyclesofJacksonville.com online or on Atlantic near Regency. Check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS.
orthopedic specialists.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
The coolest thing going on right now is the summer fan sale with 3 ways to save at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Browse their huge selection of high-quality fans to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Buy 1 fan, save 10%. Buy 2, save 15%. Buy 3 or more and save 20% off summer pricing on all fans. Visit their showroom near the avenues while inventory is still available and discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Every night here, Hacker After Dark, we stream on the 1010XL MyBookie digital platform. You can catch this show along with every show here on the radio station on YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, you name it. We stream beginning 6 o'clock in the morning all the way to 10 o'clock at night. So check us out if you're outside of your car on the 1010XL MyBookie digital platform. Also, all these Jaguar interviews that we're doing at training camp, we're doing a ton. Every day, it's myself, it's Rick Ballou, it's Hayes Carline, Mia O'Brien, Joe Coward. Basically, all of us have one-on-ones every single day. You can check those out on YouTube at the brand new 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Just search 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube, and all of our one-on-one conversations down at training camp with the Jaguars are right there for your viewing pleasure. One of those was Daniel Thomas. I had the opportunity to talk with Daniel yesterday following training camp on Monday. We'll bring you a Hacker After Dark replay of that coming up in one moment. Quickly, a couple of things to let you know about in the NFL. Number one, we mentioned this in hour number one. DJ Moore of the Chicago Bears, a brand new 4-year contract extension, $110 million. $82 million of that is guaranteed. The Chicago Bears, who play the Hall of Fame game in 48 hours against Houston, the Bears announced today that they will not be playing any of their starters. I do not blame them. I would imagine the Texans won't play any of their starters either. But you know what? It's preseason NFL football. I'm fired up about it on Thursday night up in Canton, Ohio. I'm also fired up to see the new kickoff rule that will make its debut at the Hall of Fame game. A couple injuries, too, and some suspensions. We talk in the division. Arden Key, former Jaguar, current Titan, reportedly 6 games, PEDs. He joins Danico Autry from yesterday of the Texans, reportedly 6-game suspension, PEDs. Indianapolis lost their top sack artist from last year in Samson Ebukam. He tore his Achilles in practice earlier this week. He had 9.5 sacks last year. He will miss the entire season for Indianapolis. Roman Wilson, the rookie for the Pittsburgh Steelers out of Michigan, he messed up his ankle pretty good. He's listed as week to week. Not day to day, but week to week. So keep your eye on that as injuries begin mounting around the National Football League. Daniel Thomas re-signed here in the offseason. He is one of the most valuable members of the Jaguars special teams. He's entering year 5 as a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he joined me after training camp. Here's my conversation with Jacksonville Jaguar defensive back Daniel Thomas.
All right, Monday, Miller Electric Center, Jaguar training camp in the books. We're here with Jacksonville Jaguar defensive back Daniel Thomas. Daniel, how's it going out there?
It's going pretty good. Pretty hot out there, but everything's been coming together. We slowly putting the installs in and just getting better each and every day.
Go back to Saturday again today. Looked like a good day for the defense. Can you guys feel that, the momentum building for you guys?
Most definitely. Coach Nielsen is still in this mindset where, to the point where we don't have to, wait on the offense to get better. We dominate and just focus on us. So each day we just stacking days and put in the work, and just outcomes are evident. So.
You mentioned Coach Nielsen, new defensive coordinator, almost an entirely new defensive staff. What is that mindset they've brought to you guys this offseason?
Attack, aggressive. Each and every day we coming out with that same mindset and treating every day like it's day one and just getting better and not getting complacent. So each day we treat every day like it's Friday, which is payday.
What about you? You were a free agent this offseason. You had options, I'm sure. You chose to re-sign here in Jacksonville. Why'd you make that decision?
First of all, God told me to come back, and second of all, Jacksonville is home, and I love the coaching staff here. It's like family, and this is where I got my start. So hopefully I can be here the rest of my career and just make a mark here and do something that's never been done, for sure.
You, Andrew Winger, Devon Hamilton last year, you were joined by Trevor and Josh and Tyson and all these guys getting new deals that have been here for 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
What does that mean in the locker room for the organization to take care of their own guys?
It just, it starts at the top with the front office, and they obviously seeing that we have guys who are high character, they're good players, and we're building a culture here that starts with the guys in the locker room. So they obviously see that when you get a group of guys together and they gel, good things happen. Obviously we got hurt a lot last year, and things didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but I know we got the right guys in the room, and I know they see that as well. So.
Couple more for Jaguar defensive back Daniel Thomas. I was talking with Dewey last week. Dewey's never one to mince words. You are on a short list with him, guys that were here through the dark times, if you will, 2020, 2021, 4 combined wins, and now people were frustrated about 9 wins last year. The compare and contrast from when your career started here to where this organization is now.
It's like night and day. I remember when I first got here, we started off 1 game and 1 win and 15 straight losses, and definitely a struggle. It tested you mentally and physically because of, who wants to not win. You get what I'm saying? So just to see, the culture that Doug brought in here, it's like, man, all it takes is the right coaching staff being with you at the right time. So like I said, the culture that Doug and the players we have in this room that we bringing together, it's going to be something special. I know it takes time, but sooner or later I feel like it's going to be one of the places to be at and the teams to beat.
I know you were hurt towards the end of last year, but a lot of guys have talked about losing 5 out of 6 and the motivation of the collapse or whatever you want to call it. How much now, 6 months after that, is that still a motivating factor?
Most definitely, because, it's easy to, be like, man, we had the team, but it's like we did have the team. So it's like, just losing those last 5 to 6 games, it definitely leaves a chip on your shoulder. And it's like every time we step on the field, I definitely think about it because I just hate not being in that Super Bowl game. Me and Dewey talk about it, I never won anything from Little League, high school. I only went to the playoffs. I never won a championship. So just not being in that Super Bowl game does something to me. So, I want to make sure at the end of the year we holding up that trophy. And whatever the team needs, whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do it so we can be at the top when it's all said and done.
As we wrap up with Daniel Thomas, a couple of final thoughts. Number one, the secondary is interesting. Guys like you and Dewey and Tyson, you've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
But now Darby and Savage and Prince and Jones, a lot of new guys. How is that secondary meshing right now?
It's like we've been together our whole career. And that's the culture that we have have in our locker room, we got a bunch of selfless guys, you know, Cisco, Tyson, Dewey, you know what I'm saying? Ever since I've been there, it's just guys that just love each other. And when you love your brother, you can compete with your brother. He can get you better. He can hold you accountable. So, like, being with guys for 4 and 5 years, me and Dewey, I never had won a year without him. So it's like, that's my blood brother, you know, Cisco, you know, 4 years, Tyson. It's like, you know, you have guys like that in the locker room. It's like, I know they're going to get me better. They're going to hold me accountable. And at the end of the day, we're going to get the job done. So them the guys you can trust. If I can love you, I can trust you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of culture we have in this DB room. It's been like that ever since we've been there.
Final question, Daniel. New kickoff rule.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be interesting for everybody involved. You're going to live it here in a couple of weeks. I mean, what's your thought on the whole thing?
Crazy work. Crazy work. I mean, like, I'm being funny, but it's definitely new, and it's a challenge. But I'm excited to see how it's going to affect the NFL. But it's exciting, you know what I'm saying? Add a little spice to the league. So everybody's learning. So everybody's a rookie on kickoff. So it's like everybody trying to earn a spot. Everybody trying to show what they can do. So I'm excited to see what this new rule going to do to the game.
Helmets and T-shirts are fun. Yeah. Full pads is what you want to see. You excited?
Yeah. So, like, this don't really mean that. That's why I tell people, like, it matters, but it don't matter. And what matters is when you put on them pads on. So, like, tomorrow I'm excited to see how everybody going to show up and who going to separate themselves. And that's what it's all about. We physical and we're aggressive players. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow.
He's a fixture here in Jacksonville, Jaguar DB Daniel Thomas. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Anytime, brother. You have a good one.
A 1010XL Summer Olympic Update. Brought to you by USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. Simone Biles fought through injury to lead the U.S. women to gold in the team final earlier today. Biles has been dealing with a calf injury she suffered on Monday night, but told her coach Cecile Landy she was ready to go.
I told her I was feeling calm and ready, and that's kind of exactly what happened. But after I finished vault, I was relieved. I was like, whew, because at least no flashbacks or anything. But I did feel a lot of relief, and as soon as I landed vault, I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this.
Both the men's and women's 3x3 basketball teams made their Paris debuts today with losses. The men fell to Serbia 22-14, while the women lost to Germany 17-13. The U.S. women's rugby team won the bronze medal with a 14-12 win over Australia. And the men's soccer team advanced to the knockout stage for the first time since 2000 with a 3-0 win over Guinea. They'll face Morocco in the quarterfinals Friday. With this Summer Games update, I'm Ryan Radke, Westwood One Sports.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you.
Paid for by NHTSA.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey there, Weekend Warriors. It's Matt Hayes. Sick of that slice? Tired of those 3 putts? What if I told you your handicap isn't about your swing, it's about your weight? Why not take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with the Waco 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August, getting your tour card by September, winning your first major. Year 1. Think about it. Fame, fortune, and most important, winning $5 off your buddy because you, sir, are closest to the pin. Taking strokes off your game is just about 40 pounds away at Awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken 180 does not guarantee an immediate 10 strokes off your score, receiving a tour card, or the ability to control the weather. Individual results may vary. Your newfound athleticism might cause jealousy among your foursome, leading to accusations of steroid use. Awaken is not responsible for defending your honor in the clubhouse. Awaken 180 cannot guarantee that your newfound golf prowess will lead to a sponsorship deal, but we can't not guarantee it either. Awaken 180 is not responsible for any dramatic fist pumps or unsolicited golf tips you give to strangers. Awaken 180 does not offer refunds for any lost wagers made on your improved golf game. Bet wisely, my friend. Strokes off your game by dropping pounds off your frame. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Get your first look at the team inside Everbank Stadium during our 2024 stadium practice Saturday, August 3rd. The season is almost here. Don't miss your chance to see the players up close before they take the field this fall. Stadium practice is free to attend, and seats are going fast, so register for tickets at jaguars.com/training camp. We can't wait to see you there.
Mueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a paint color namer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Irving Stapler.
Hi, Howie.
So the next round is word association. I'll say a word and you give me the first word you think of. Engagement ring.
Jeweler.
Gas station.
Fueler.
Aaron Burr.
Dueler?
Air conditioning.
Wow. Jeez. It's a toughie.
Come on, Irv. The sponsor's going to kill me now.
Oh, Bueller.
That's right, Irv. If your AC is struggling through the summer heat, the first name you should think of for fast, friendly, 5-star service is Bueller Air and Plumbing. The name to know to make sure you are cool.
Have a beer, Irv.
Cooler.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Get fishing tips and stories from Captain Kevin
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon.
on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Whoa!
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
This patriotic chant mirrors the enthusiastic efforts our American athletes have dedicated to their quest for a gold medal at this summer's Olympics in Paris. USAPark.net Airport Parking is your safe and secure parking for when you fly out of JIA. No matter where you're going, whether you're traveling to the Olympics to support our athletes or just visiting Grandma, remember to park at USAPark.net.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. We are now 6 practices in for the Jacksonville Jaguars in training camp. The pads came on today. There was a lot to look at today and certainly a lot to discuss over the last week or so. With that, Zach Goodall, he is the managing editor of the Jaguars Wire, which is a terrific Jaguar resource, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Zach, how you doing?
Doing great, Ryan. Thank you for having me. I'm still just checking in here from the Miller Electric Center after what was an eventful day. I'm sure we'll get into it, but quite a good day for Jacksonville's passing offense.
Yeah, it was. Certainly a lot different than what we saw this past Saturday, and we'll get into that in a moment. But, Zach, you've been to every practice like I have. There's 6 practices in. The pads came on today. In totality, a mile-high view, if you will, how would you assess what you've seen overall in the last week or so?
Probably the best way to describe it would be intense, I think. I think the energy has been really good. Players have been kind of going at it the entire time over these 6 days. You see the physicality, obviously, with pads coming on today, and even, in the days leading up, they couldn't make a lot of contact with each other, given the rules, but at the same time, they were still giving 100% effort, it seemed, a lot of the time. A lot of people will, make a lot about how the passing defense has performed over the first, I would believe, 5 days, but you've started to see as the offense, especially Brian Thomas, who's going to factor into this offense quite a bit this year, as he got more comfortable in these team settings with everyone around. We've really seen, I think, on day 5 and 6, a little more balance, and even here on day 6, especially the passing offense getting a lot of advantages. So it's starting to balance out. I think we've cooled down quite a bit from the first couple of days in terms of reactions and people saying their things on Twitter, and now it's balancing out. I think that's probably the better way to put it.
And this thing is such a roller coaster. I mean, the conversation could be completely different tomorrow, could be completely different as we get into the weekend. But for the here and now, you're right. I mean, you go back to Saturday, and you would have thought the sky was falling with the fan reaction. Now, let's talk about the on-the-field product. There's no doubt Saturday was not good. The defense won the day. There were some interceptions. The offense looked flat, looked, dare I say, disorganized maybe at times. It was not a good day for the offense. They have since responded, which we'll get to. But clearly, was there any concern for you as a guy that's out there every day, what you saw on Saturday?
I think so. I mean, day 1 is okay. It's day 1. Day 2 is okay, this is a pattern that we should, at least keep track of. By day 3, became a concerning trend at the end of the day. And I think there are a lot of reasons that can go into it, whether it's rust, obviously receivers and offensive linemen, again, the physicality just wasn't necessarily there for them to function the way they're supposed to. So for a Brian Thomas, for example, who's still getting used to the route running that this offense calls for, the NFL calls for, he couldn't really put it all out on display in terms of what they're going to ask him to do. But yeah, I think through Saturday they were up to 7 team interceptions and certainly not as many scores. So at that point, it was fair to have some red flags go up, some concerns being raised. But again, yeah, as you mentioned, the balance started to come out here really these past couple of days, and I think we're starting to cool off now a little bit now, at least in terms of this reaction that never gets overblown, right?
It's the world we live in. It's the 24-hour news cycle. There's no question about that. Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Zach, there's no doubt yesterday and today were better days for the offense. In your opinion, why do you think that is?
I think there was a level of comfort that's come from having worked together these couple of days. And obviously, I think getting the rest day Sunday looks to have turned into a benefit for this group. They came out re-energized, I would say, over the past 2 days. The physicality helps. Today, I think that helped a lot. I thought receivers especially were showing off more physicality in their route running, within 5 yards, getting hands off, which they just weren't really able to do those first couple of days. And the quarterbacks were on it too. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence had 1 incompletion in his first 15 or 16 attempts, whether it was 11 on 11 or 7 on 7. And I believe that even was a drop. So he just came out and it was on the money. Mac Jones was similar in being accurate to multiple different levels of the field. You can just tell that there was a sense of comfort that it started to click.
First day in pads. Look, I mean, I knew there was going to be some hitting today, but I'll be honest, they got after it for day one in pads. I mean, there was even some goal line work almost inside the 10-yard line, inside the 5-yard line. They were, we had blood on Brandon Sheriff's face. I talked to him after practice. He had a laceration on his nose. There were a couple of guys that got a little banged up. We don't know the severity, but clearly for day one in pads, I don't know if the coaches wanted to send a message, but a very, very physical practice today.
Yeah, I thought so too. They kind of limited the 11-on-11 work out in the middle of the field, and really, as it got going, got back into the heavy red zone like we saw on days 1 and 2, where they were really drilling a lot of reps in there. And a standout player for me, even though it's not the passing offense, was Tank Bigsby, the running back. He had a couple of physical, albeit shorter runs there in the red zone, but he ran up the gut, bounced outside, beat players to the edge, and took on contact to get into the end zone twice, running once to the left, once to the right. So you see it not even with just the receivers and quarterbacks, but even the running backs. And you figure in that sense, even while they're still, increasing their physicality too in day one on pads, but the offensive line, it seemed, they were getting after it. Defenders were also doing different tackling circuits and drills in the middle of team drills, or I guess I should say in between these team drills when they pushed back into individuals. But all in all, they were, whether it was in individuals, in teams, in 7-on-7, running the ball, passing the ball, and route running, the physicality was definitely there. And I think that fans definitely welcomed it. There was a good bit of energy out there today.
I also get the sense, Zach, that the coaching staff is tired of the nonsense. Walker Little had a false start, and he got yanked for a play. And they put Foster, the rookie, in from Missouri. Now, it was only one play, but I thought that was interesting that Little committed a penalty. He gets pulled for a play for the rookie. Did you take note of that?
Yeah, I did. And while it doesn't necessarily apply to the offense here, that was something that Foye Oluokun said afterwards about Ryan Nielsen, that as a defensive coordinator, he is a tough coach to impress, that it takes a lot, and he's not easily impressed. And it seems like that's being worked across the board, too. There have been some I think delay of games and false starts in the couple early practices that we were dealing with, especially without pads. And I would think that the mentality is kind of the same way across the board. If you're going to commit a mental mistake in practice that kind of way, they're going to offer that rep to someone else. And with Walker and Javon, that's a perfect example of what that looks like.
Zach Goodall of Jaguars Wire with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. All right, Zach, let's kind of go individually here, position by position. Wide receivers, some good, some bad. We've talked about Brian Thomas a lot. What about Christian Kirk? What about Gabe Davis? Parker Washington is seemingly catching everything out there. And is there an under-the-radar wide receiver maybe that's caught your eye a weekend?
Yeah, tell you what, underrated is where I'll start, and I'll go with Joseph Skates, the undrafted wide receiver. He's scored back-to-back days passes, I believe both from Mac Jones. Even one of them was a really good ball on Monday. I believe that was 7-on-7, and today's was 11-on-11. So he's someone that, at least in these past couple of days, has certainly started to make a name for himself. Christian Kirk, he looks healthy. He looks like he's been up to speed now for a little bit, even dating back to the mini camp time frame. He started to look like that he had his juice. That obviously went away there at the end of the year while he was recovering from his core muscle injury. But he's worked back into form and looks good. Press Taylor had mentioned last week that he envisioned Gabe Davis as the pads came on, and allowing his big body to get out there and do some of the things that he's a little better at, that he's not able to necessarily do without pads, I should say. And we started to see that today. He made looked like a diving grab in the back of the end zone for an 11-on-11 touchdown. He's had a couple of other impressive grabs where he's really had to use that physicality. So I think when it came to at least foreshadowing a little bit of offensive improvement last week when things weren't going that well, Press Taylor nailed that one, because you're starting to see it with Gabe Davis. He's starting to come out and make a couple of plays too.
To me, Zach, the guys that those wide receivers are going against the secondary, that was one of the more intriguing positions coming into camp. Look, we knew Tyson Campbell and Ronald Darby, and I think Both of those guys have looked very, very good. But we really didn't know what was going to look like after them. I mean, Jarian Jones is obviously going to be here as a third-round pick, and I believe he's impressed to this point. But I've seen flashes from Christian Braswell. Certainly, he did some really nice things on Monday. How do you see the cornerback room shaping up after Campbell and after Darby?
Yeah, and I think part of it is because of how the passing offense started, but it feels like you can go through the room and pick a player. You're going to find someone who's made at least one play throughout camp, whether it's at corner, at safety. Darnell Savage working in while he's still a bit limited with an injury from last year, but he's been getting reps all the time. You would think that he probably isn't limited. Cornerbacks, you mentioned Braswell. I think he's had 2 interceptions and at least one other pass breakup throughout camp in different kinds of drills. You're going to have to forgive me. He's been in the NFL for a few years, and I'll still botch his name, but Amani Oruwariye, I think I got it.
I think that's good, man. I think you're solid there.
There we go. He's been getting a decent bit of a uptick in reps with projected starters and higher members of the projected depth, I should say, while Tyson Campbell and even Jarian Jones were limited with ankle injuries over the past couple of days. Trey Flowers, who signed, I believe, in May, played with Ryan Nielsen in Atlanta last year. He's come in and made a play or two every now and then, working on special teams too. There's a lot of unproven. There's some proof, obviously, with a veteran like Flowers and another one like Oruwariye in terms of what they've done in the NFL. But generally speaking, it is a young, unproven room, and all of these players are getting opportunities to go out there and make plays, and you'd find more of them that have been happening so far. And for a defense that, we want to see big gains in their passing defense, whether it's getting after the passer or forcing a passer into bad decisions. So far, I think the results are pretty positive.
Final moment, Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire with us here on 1010XL. Zach, the linebacker room, we all know about Foye and Devin Lloyd and certainly Chad Muma. I was curious what it was going to look like after that, and I got to tell you, whether it's Ventrell Miller, and then I'll list 2 other guys. Caleb Johnson's been primarily a special teams guy the last couple of years. He has been very good this week. And this kid, is it Andrew Parker, the kid from App State, the undrafted free agent? I don't know necessarily if he knows where he's going, but he's going there in a big hurry, and he's certainly caught my eye early on here.
Yeah, that's right. With Johnson, he's another guy who has made plays in coverage. He had an interception, I think, on the first or second day. And literally, I mean, you pick your defender in the back 7, and at least someone has gotten a hand on a ball at some point. So it speaks to whether they're first team, projected third team, special team, or everyone's getting those opportunities. And Andrew Parker, too. Yeah, he's another player that's going to be worth watching. I remember Jacksonville, after the draft, had signed him to a deal, which, forgive me for not having the direct numbers in front of me, but I believe he earned the highest guarantees of any player that they signed after the draft in that undrafted free agency period. So there's clearly a bit of confidence that his skill set from App State can transition to the NFL. And you're right, there's still some clicking that I think is going to have to, happen as he continues to learn an NFL defense. But the play speed is there. I think the physicality is there. He's got a solid build. He's definitely a player worth watching.
All right, Zach, I want to talk about Jaguars Wire. Before we get there, somebody maybe we haven't mentioned yet, somebody positive that you look at maybe a little bit differently now than you thought of a week ago in a positive light.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm trying to think defense that we haven't really gone because we haven't gotten to talk too much about players along the front. Jeremiah Ledbetter, actually, he's someone that he had an interception off of Mac Jones, I believe, a couple days ago. It was batted up into the air, and he went up and got it. It must have been a screen or something of the sort. It may have been the pass to Austin Trammell, actually, that went off his hands. But one way or another, a pass was not supposed to go to Jeremiah Ledbetter, and somehow from the middle of the defensive line, he got it. He ran it back, was having a fun time, and he's made a couple of other plays, whether it was getting after the passer or stopping a run for a short gain. Another fierce competition there, whether it's with the additions of Eric Armstead, rookies Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson, and obviously players that have come back to fight for roles in what is a new look front, a new scheme under Nielsen there. It's a heated competition across all 4 of those defensive line spots. And Jeremiah Ledbetter has been in the league for a while, kind of a bottom of the roster guy, was probably fighting his way continues to probably be fighting his way into a roster spot. And that's how you start, by making plays like that.
Zach, similar question, just the opposite. The guy maybe a week ago that you thought was a shoo-in for the 53 that might have their work cut out for them now.
Ooh, that one's even tougher. So it's like, based on making the 53, obviously this player doesn't come up in this conversation, right? But before today, the answer in terms of high expectations and they disappointed would have easily been Brian Thomas, just based on the first round pedigree, the dominance in his junior season at LSU, and then to really for about 4 days not have done anything in camp, even without pads. It was disappointing at that point, but he bounced back today. Again, he had 2 different touchdowns in different periods. Strong day yesterday. So all that is to say he is an inadequate answer for the question. Maybe Walker Little, honestly, based on what you had mentioned earlier, and people have gone back and forth on what the long-term future is at left tackle between Cam Robinson and Walker Little. But in a year where they're both going into contract years, you would, I guess, figure to see a bit more of him. But to me, at least, it looks like Cam Robinson's been getting the majority of the work at left tackle with the projected first team, and can't be committing false starts in a training camp practice like that and getting pulled in what is really a pivotal year for his career, no less. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't see him as a threat to be pushed off of the 53 unless it were a trade, but certainly not as a release. But I had higher expectations for him coming in at this point, and maybe they'll get better too as they get used to the physicality. It is, again, only day one of pads for offensive linemen. That makes it a bit tougher, but I certainly expected more.
No, I agree. There was a thought that there might be a battle there between Cam Robinson and Walker Little, and at least right now, that does not appear to be the case as we're a week into camp. Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire. Zach, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about Jaguars Wire, where they can find you, and what's coming up when they check out the website.
Without a doubt. As I mentioned earlier, I'm actually still here at the Miller Electric Center, so some point in the next, I would say 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I'll have my notebook up from today with all my observations from camp and bringing out daily content. We'll have more features coming, a lot of, projecting as we get closer to roster trim downs, what this team really will look like. You'll see that content, and obviously coverage of all the preseason and other training camp practices here in the next couple of weeks throughout August. So find it over at jaguarswire.usatoday.com.
Zach, really appreciate it. Know you're busy, brother. Thank you as always. I'll see you down there in the morning.
Absolutely. See you tomorrow, Ryan.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
We feel like children.
They are The Drill.
We're closer than brothers. Brothers always fight.
Mornings.
We really have a relationship that's way, way past that.
On 1010XL.
We've grown up.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
Hey, where's your sense of adventure?
They don't cook, but they serve up spicy sports talk.
Sure, it's on the menu.
Helmets and heels.
That is a meal.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Bands on 1010XL.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, sports fans. Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I and Beaches Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business that's been chosen as the exclusive pest control provider for the brand new state-of-the-art Miller Electric Performance Center. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their effectiveness in keeping spiders, roaches, bugs, and termites out. When I trust them for my family and the Jags trust them for their business, then you can too. For the best service in town, call my friends at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in at my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey, John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
It's the coolest week to save during the summer fan sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Buy one fan, save 10%. Buy two, save 15%. Buy three or more and save 20% off all fans at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Showroom near the Avenues.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
And thank you to Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, which is a part of USA Today, for joining us here on Hacker After Dark. Really appreciate his perspective as we are a week in to Jaguar camp. And that's really a lot of what we talked about this evening, right? 6 practices in. Today was the first one in full pads. And this thing is such a roller coaster. There'll be up days, there'll be down days, kind of like life, right? I'm not really saying anything that's any different for the Jaguars than what's different for you or I. But it's like I said last night, relax. On Saturday, look, the Jaguar offense was not very good. There's no doubt about that. The defense won the day, and, as we're tweeting this stuff out, the ones of us that were down there on Saturday, the reaction was just unbelievable. Just the panic or whatever you want to call it. And now all of a sudden, back-to-back days, both yesterday and today, the Jaguars offense has performed considerably better. And now there doesn't seem to be as much panic or as much whatever, again, you want to call it. So go with the ebb and flow, right? Take the ups, take the downs, take the middle ground. That's what training camp's going to be. And again, none of this stuff, other than injuries, right? Other than injuries, but none of this stuff really matters as far as how great they look until Sunday, September 8th. I cannot tell you how many times over the years I saw a preseason game or I saw a preseason performance or a training camp practice performance and just absolutely lost my stuff, either positively or negatively. And it turns out a month later that had absolutely nothing to do with the direction of the season. Take preseason football for what it is. Take training camp for what it is. We love it. We're down there every day. You're down there every day. We're going to let you know what we see. We're going to let you know what they're saying. We're going to talk to the guys as I do every night here on Hacker After Dark. But again, it's teaching. It's learning. It's the playbook and where are you supposed to be and when are you supposed to be there. And if this is off today, we'll correct it and make it better tomorrow. And all of that stuff obviously leads up to that trip to Miami, Florida on Sunday, September 8th for the regular season opener against the Miami Dolphins. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very busy Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, my buddy Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, which is a part of the USA Today. We certainly appreciate Zach taking time out for us tonight. Thank you to Justin Mello of the Draft Network. Now, Justin has a piece out on the Draft Network all about Jaguars second-year offensive tackle Anton Harrison, how great he was towards the end of his rookie year, projecting that he may be one of the best right tackles in the NFL in the next year or two. Jaguar fans, I think you'll enjoy that story that Justin Mello wrote. You can go to the Draft Network and check out his Anton Harrison piece. Justin also is based in Nashville. He covers the Tennessee Titans, and what a day it was for the Tennessee Titans today. Are you kidding me? First off, it's being reported former Jaguar, current Titan Arden Key is going to be suspended for 6 games due to PEDs. Then there apparently was a huge incident, a fight that broke out between supposedly their team leader and Jeffrey Simmons on defense and their first-round rookie offensive tackle J.C. Latham. A lot of other guys got involved. And if all that wasn't bad enough, then apparently our colleagues at 104.5 The Zone up in Nashville, Buck Reesing, who was doing his show at the Titans training facility, Jeffrey Simmons, who started the fight, came over and on the air said some things to Buck that, quite frankly, I cannot say to you right now because of terrestrial radio limitations. I mean, it was, it would make a sailor blush, and this was live on the radio. You can find the video. In fact, I retweeted it, but good grief. Jeffrey Simmons, if you're supposed to be a team leader for the Tennessee Titans, today was not a good look for you, my friend. And you combine that with the suspension, reported suspension of Arden Key, not a good day up in Nashville. Again, thank you to both Jaguars that joined me. We had Brandon Sheriff of the offensive line. We also replayed you the Daniel Thomas interview from yesterday. And as always, thank you to our friends down to the Jaguars PR staff for helping us out here on Hacker After Dark. We will be back tomorrow night on a Wednesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, Have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Tuesday evening, and we will talk to you tomorrow night on a Wednesday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then,